The night was thick with rain, each droplet striking the cobblestone streets like an impatient drummer. The city was quieter than usual, shadows stretching long across dim-lit alleyways. It was in one of these shadows that Lucas Hale stood, his coat soaked through, his fists clenched around the crumpled photograph that had driven him for the last 2 years. In the photograph, a young woman smiled, a wide, carefree smile that lit up her eyes. Emily Carter, the woman he had loved, the woman he had planned to marry, the woman whose life had been reduced to ashes by a betrayal so cold it still clawed at his insides. 2 years ago, Emily was murdered. Officially, it was labeled a tragic accident, a house fire that spread too quickly for her to escape. But Lucas knew better. Fires didn't start themselves in the dead of winter, not in a home with no faulty wiring, not when days before Emily had confessed she'd uncovered something dangerous at her job. Emily worked as an investigative journalist. She had stumbled upon proof that one of the city's most respected businessmen, Richard Voss, was laundering money for dangerous people. She had told Lucas she was going to expose him. 3 days later, she was dead. The police did nothing. They called Lucas paranoid, said grief had made him imagine conspiracies. But Lucas wasn't imagining the threatening voicemail Emily had received 2 nights before she died. He wasn't imagining the missing USB drive she had hidden in their apartment. And he wasn't imagining the quiet smirk Voss wore when he offered his condolences at her funeral. Lucas left the city after that, not to heal. He knew there would be no healing, but to plan. He learned everything he could about Voss, his businesses, his allies, his enemies. He traveled to the fringes of the underworld, trading what little money he had for information, for skills, for patience. Every night, he imagined the moment Voss would look into his eyes and realize exactly who had come for him. Now, 2 years later, Lucas was back. The first step wasn't to go after Voss directly. No, Voss was too insulated, too surrounded by bodyguards and corrupt politicians. Lucas would dismantle him from the inside, brick by brick, until there was nothing left but the man and his sins. His first target was Anthony Vega, Voss's right-hand man, the one who handled the dirty jobs. Vega was loud, arrogant, and addicted to high-stakes poker games. Lucas found him easily at a backroom gambling den in the South Docks. Lucas didn't challenge Vega with violence. Instead, he sat across from him at the poker table, blending into the smoke-filled air, letting the night wear on until Vega's pile of chips was nothing but a memory. Vega hated losing. He hated enough that when Lucas offered him a way to win it all back, a business opportunity involving a shipment Vega wasn't supposed to know about, he took the bait. The shipment was a trap. By the time Vega realized he'd been set up, the police, tipped anonymously by Lucas, were already there. Vega was arrested for trafficking stolen goods, his name splashed across headlines. One piece of Voss's empire crumbled. But Lucas didn't stop there. He moved to the next target, Sarah Quinn, Voss's legal advisor, the one who covered up the financial trails Emily had been investigating. Lucas posed as a wealthy investor seeking Voss's help. He charmed her, earning her trust, and then fed her false documents that made it appear as though she had embezzled millions from Voss's accounts. Paranoia set in quickly, and within weeks, Voss fired her, publicly, ruthlessly. Piece by piece, Lucas dismantled the foundation until Voss's empire began to shake. But Lucas knew that hurting Voss's business wasn't enough. Emily deserved more than financial ruin. She deserved truth. That truth came when Lucas broke into Voss's penthouse one rainy night. He wasn't there to kill, yet. He was there for the safe. Hidden behind a false wall, the safe contained everything Lucas had hoped for: ledgers, offshore account numbers, contracts. And in the bottom drawer, a USB drive labeled EC. His hands trembled as he plugged it into his laptop. Emily's voice filled the room. It was a recorded interview, raw and unedited, detailing every crime Voss had committed, every name, every date. She ended the recording with the promise: "If anything happens to me, you'll know who's responsible." It was enough, more than enough. The next morning, every news outlet in the city received an anonymous package containing the recording, the ledgers, and a letter signed simply, "For Emily." By noon, the city was on fire with scandal. Arrest warrants were issued. Politicians distanced themselves. Voss's face was plastered across screens. No longer the charming philanthropist, but the predator he truly was. Voss fled, or at least he tried to. Lucas found him that night in an abandoned warehouse near the river, desperate and cornered. The man who had once stood untouchable now looked small, pathetic. "You," he hissed, recognizing him. "You're Emily's fiancé, the man you took everything from," Lucas said, his voice like ice. Voss tried to bargain, he tried to threaten, but Lucas didn't care for words anymore. He didn't care for mercy. When it was over, the warehouse was silent except for the rain. Lucas walked away, leaving Voss to the justice of the authorities, or the lack thereof. He didn't stay to watch the aftermath. He didn't need to. Emily's voice would live on, her truth out in the open for the world to see. Lucas had kept his promise. The city would forget, eventually. But Lucas wouldn't. Revenge hadn't healed him. It hadn't erased the hole Emily left behind. But it had given him one thing: peace. And sometimes that was enough.